Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are around the world. It is time for Passion Fridays, and I am the HR Passion Guy, Marcus R. Holmes, just checking in with you on various platforms, uh, live through Restream on LinkedIn, on Twitch TV, on YouTube, on Facebook, both the Marcus R. Holmes page and the Love and Stuff page. And I'm just so thankful and grateful that you are here with us. I believe this is our 9th edition of Passion Fridays, where we promise to bring you from HR Passion people who are passionate about the work and things that they do, passionate causes, and passionate things around human resources. And so I'm so grateful that you're joining us. I see a few folks have joined us on LinkedIn, trying to check in. If you'll just drop in the comments where you are and what the temperature is like where you are. I am in Northwest Detroit, and the temperature is nice and sunny. I think it is about 75 degrees. I think it's going to get up a little bit warmer than that. And this is my kind of weather. I like 60s, 70s weather. So wherever you are around the world, if you will just drop where you are and what the temperature is like there, I'd appreciate that in the comments just so that we can continue to track with you. So I'm saying hello to those that are on the LinkedIn platform, those that are on YouTube. Thank you so much. We kind of get our brothers and sisters across seas on YouTube, and some of them are so patient with me because I have not learned the translation lingo or opportunities there to translate some of the things that they're saying to me in other languages. So I think I'm going to have to step up my game and learn some other languages. But I am thankful for them as well. And just stopping in and looking at the Facebook people that have joined us on our Facebook. Thank you so much, Tawana Graham. I see some others that are joining us there on Facebook. And I'm trying to see if I can see some of the names. I cannot. I'm looking at the Love and Stuff page. Thank you all, you Love and Stuffers. We love you all and appreciate you all. I just wanted to check in with everybody and encourage you to drop in the comments. Where are you? And what's the temperature like where you are? We always ask that. We're always fascinated about what passions are happening around the world and what the temperatures are like around those passions. So I do see some folks on the Love and Stuff page. Thank you all so very much for coming to our Friday, Passion Fridays. Our guest will be on momentarily, and it is a place where we hope to bring to you, as I believe we're bringing to you, extraordinary humans, exceptional humans. Another one is joining us today, who have passionate stories, are passionate about the things, their life's mission and the work that they do, passionate about the people in their lives. Drop in the comments, what are you passionate about? What are the things that bring you passion? You know, I was involved for a small bit in a very passionate discussion on LinkedIn around conservatism. And so I bowed out of that discussion because when the passion becomes, I'm going to say, when it devolves into attacks, be it personal or religious, which can feel personal, right? Or racial or name calling. If it devolves into that, I exit stage left. I would say stage right, but I'm more a lefty than a right, if you get it. And so there was a passionate discussion around the presidential candidates and the amount of things that some believe have been done for people of color. And I vehemently disagreed of that, but I wanted to make sure that my passion in that discussion has no opportunity to be regarded as something that devolves into what I consider lower level communication. I just don't believe that we have to devolve into name calling, race baiting, personal attacks. I just don't believe that we have to do that. I cannot say that in my life that I haven't done that, but I ascribe that my passion, that fuel will be harnessed in a way to bring about understanding, empathy, and change. And so I just had to mention that, passionate about the future of our country here in the United States, and passionate about how we get there. Passionate to get people excited about voting, getting engaged in the process, making a difference on a local and state and national level. I'm also passionate about human resources, and in my travels, if you will, my virtual travels, as of late, I've had an opportunity to spend a number of my evenings and weekends and some lunchtimes too, talking to organizations who are trying to turn the corner on diversity and inclusion and equity. And I say turn the corner because I believe you have to get on a new street, a new block, a change of mindset as it relates to what being an environment that both attracts and retains a diverse, qualified, talented, equitable workforce. And so I had the pleasure of speaking with an architectural firm, or at least one of the members of a diversity council in that architectural firm, to provide some advice and counsel as to how they might do that. And so if you are an organization, small or large, and you don't have a chief diversity and inclusion officer, no, I'm not putting my resume in for that necessarily, but you want to build diversity councils, have a discussion with us. We love to have you have a discussion, if not here live, in one of our Zoom rooms. And we do have some within our network, employment law attorneys. We have some diversity and inclusion experts who we can bring together to help you change your mindset and then change your policy and practices that align with that mindset, that all in the end will align with your core values that are driving business results. And one of the important parts of that journey, I think people have learned, is sometimes what you value isn't driving you business results. So there is some part of that exercise where you do have to come to terms with whether or not what your values are really bringing you business goals, and what are the set of activities, strategies, and initiatives and programs that might need to be implemented to align that. So you can reach me here in my inbox. You can reach me at HR Passion, MGR Marcus, Manager Marcus, MGR Marcus at hrpassion.com. You can go to hrpassionllc.com. All of those places you can get in contact with me. On Facebook, you can contact me at the Love and Stuff page, or Marcus R. Holmes, YouTube, HR Passion, just to start those conversations. I know many people are already in those conversations, and I sat in on a really interesting artificial intelligence conversation around diversity, inclusion, and equity that Mersion is doing. And I would love to partner with them to help them partner with you in something that's going to be customizable for you. So that's my shout out to them. And I am going to bring in our guest who is going to join us right now. And this is Joy Thornton Booker joining us today. Give a shout out to her wherever you are. See, there are some folks on LinkedIn, folks that are watching on the various platforms. If you would be so kind as just to drop in the comment where you are and what the temperature is like where you are. Where are you? And what is your temperature like where you are? Just so that we can track with you and know you are here. Your presence makes the difference in our opportunity to share information and inspiration about you living in the center of your passion. So we want to connect with you. And we can really only do that if we know that you're here. And I promise not to ask you to come on live on the show.
Oh my God, you can see me?
I cannot see you, but I can hear you now. Let's see if
I can
start your video. Let's see. Okay, so you got it.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, do it again.
Okay. All
right. There we are. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Michael Kemp, Christina Smith, thank you all for joining us on the Marcus R. Holmes page. Thank you for the folks that are on LinkedIn. This is Joy Thornton Booker Thornton.
Booker Thornton, yes.
Booker Thornton, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. You look so handsome.
Well, thank you so much. I was going to say the same about you. You look so beautiful, but you always do. And so I wanted to have you on for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
One, I admire you being a young entrepreneur. And as I've told you on a couple of occasions, at least recently in the inbox, that you have this go-getter about you, this self-initiative about you that I love to see in people that are younger than me. I was going to say young people, but I think I'm young, Joy.
There's nothing
I
wrong with
love that
that.
initiative that you have, that you're always thinking innovatively and creatively to make it happen. And so here is another event that I think is great to do, brilliant to do. And I want to
Thank
talk to you before you
you.
tell us more about the event, so that our listeners, our viewers, can learn a little bit about you as an entrepreneur. What made you? I mean, I think I know the answer, but our viewers won't. But what made you become this person that just wanted to make it happen? Where is that hustle, and don't use that word, hustle, and you come from, and how has it served you well?
Well, you know what? And thank you for the compliments. I definitely appreciate that. To be honest, God has always just been amazing in my life. So every gift, every open door that I've had, every piece of favor that I've received has come from Him, and just whatever the design and purpose He's had for my life, He's placed me. Sorry about that. I had a call come
That's,
through. Um,
that's okay.
he's placed me with some amazing people. He's placed amazing people in my life, and I'm grateful for that. One of which is my mother, who's, as you know, is a gospel singer, and
Mhm.
being growing up in that type of atmosphere from. Just not only the music aspect, but seeing more of the behind the scenes because
Mhm.
of how she was in our having a choir, being a woman, and having to negotiate different things. It really allowed me to see firsthand at the age of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Mhm.
just how to flow. Different varieties of people. When you're that young, you're taught to study to be quiet. But
Mhm.
when you're quiet, you're able to observe, a lot that most that are maybe in the actual situations they may not be able to see. So I
Mhm.
thank God for that flexibility of just in being observant.
Mhm.
Um, and so from growing up being a part of different organizations, Gospel Music Worship of America, because that's my foundation, the gospel industry. But
Yes.
I decided to venture off into the hip hop industry,
Okay.
one of which because um, well, one, when you're younger, you kind of like your hip hop music and
Sure.
everything like that. And I started out doing interviews,
Mhm.
actually. I started out doing interviews, and it was because I wanted to pick their brains. I really wanted to know the people that I would admire, different artists. I wanted to know how they would come up with the concepts
Right.
that could reach millions of people. It's
Mhm.
not like gospel music. Gospel music, of course, the word of God draws within
Right.
itself.
Right.
So to have to create your own lyrics that can still identify with people, I just kind of really wanted to know that. And
Mhm.
when I discovered that some of them didn't write their lyrics, they didn't, they really weren't as enthused that I thought they may have been about their artistry. So it really kind of opened my eyes to having a different perspective.
Mhm.
And so that was kind of one of the things that just kind of got me into the industry. And then I wanted to do a little bit more, get more involved as far as the money making aspect of it. So, so you asked about my motivation, which I'm going to get to right now. To be to be honest, I love to help. I really love to help people. I love to give people opportunities that they may not have had. I know a lot of talented people, a lot of great businesses, a lot of people who do some amazing, amazing things. And the only thing that they lack is opportunity, or awareness or marketing. And I wanted to be able to provide a platform that could sustain them or provide them with that bridge. I didn't want to carry people. I just kind of wanted to create the way out. And so God gave me various concepts to do that. And that's what I've been doing.
Awesome, awesome. And I want to ask you, because you're also now a mother, how important is it to tell children, show children, encourage children that are curious and go-getters early on? How important is that to raising
Whew.
our next generation of entrepreneurs? Because I would think your mother did an excellent job in providing that basis for you to see, okay, this is how business works, and this is how you have to hustle, and this is how you have to do it, and you pick that up and you run with it. How important do you think that is to elevating younger voices, especially women voices, right? Because
Yeah.
with all of the diversity and inclusion and equity concerns in our world, how important is it to start early on?
Oh my goodness. I must say, for my own daughter, yes, I have a 2-year-old, and it's
Mhm.
like I'm 37. So 37 with a 2-year-old is like, okay, honey, there's a whole different line of patience that comes with that. Like Job type of patience. And you really have to hold on to God's unchanging hand. Because when you're used to being, things being quiet, and you got to hear that ABC song one more time, and you
Yeah,
have a proposal to type,
yeah.
it's just it's very challenging. I think there's not a lot of women in my position with children as young as mine. Theirs are like maybe around 8, 9, 12 or so.
Mhm.
So you know I think they have a better advantage. But if you do so happen to be blessed enough to get into my particular shoes,
Mhm.
then one, praying for patients is very important. And because your children are very observant, just like I was, she is even younger. I think
Mhm.
God is kicking them out a little bit different
Mhm.
now. They're a little bit more ready
Yeah,
to learn.
yeah,
And for me, I see my daughter, when I pull out my laptop, she'll go get her little play laptop.
yeah.
And it's so funny, and she'll sit right next to me and just tap away. And so I really have to be careful of my conversations. It teaches me. Oh, you
Mhm.
need to say something? I don't want to.
No, no, I'm
Oh,
just looking
oh,
at, you're gonna see me
oh,
looking
okay.
around because I'm looking at everybody, all the platforms right now, just to see,
Okay, that's
the
fine.
feedback.
Just I don't I definitely just tell me, hey, 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 if you need to interrupt. But I just really I have to be more conscious in my dialogue with people, because sometimes when you're negotiating over the phone, sometimes it can get a little heated, never profanity, but just kind of the aggression that may come about in doing a negotiating, or having a negotiation, or having a conversation with someone. She can only see my mannerisms. So it's important for me to be able to um, hone in on my emotions, or my passion, I should say, and just kind of tone it down a little bit. Because she's watching, and it's actually a great discipline to know that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So sometimes when you're an entrepreneur, you want to do your own thing. You're going to say what you want to say. But when you have someone watching that you care about, and you want to select the right tone, you're going to keep it willed in a little bit. And so
Mhm.
I think that is a blessing within itself. But it's not that I want her to follow in my footsteps or anything like that. I just want her to be the best at
Mhm.
whatever she does. So
Yeah.
I don't care if you want to work at Popeyes, you're going to be the best
Yes. Yes.
there. You're
Yes.
going to, and then hopefully own it. So,
Yes.
I want you, it's not, you're not going to blend in. I will allow you to do whatever field you want to be in, but you're going to
Mhm.
be the best in that field.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not blending. We're not
Yeah.
blending in.
Yeah, I think it's great because she gets to watch you in the center of your passion, making things
Mm,
happen. And so she sees that as a way of life. And maybe she won't decide, as you said, to do exactly what you've done, but she'll take the principles, right?
yeah.
She'll see the work ethic that you have, and making those boss calls and making those boss moves. And growing up, she will think, oh, well, that's what I'm supposed to be, a boss. I think that's important for children to see and young people to see. I think you would be a great mentor if you're not doing mentoring to for other young ladies to say, "Hey, I could be my own boss," because maybe not every teenage girl or adolescent girl is thinking about being a boss when there are some great
Mm.
examples near and far for them to be able to see. So that's why I asked that question. I'm like, okay, now that you're a mom, do you see how that same boss is going to impact? You're going to be creating a boss just because you're being a boss.
You know what? I never really, I'm not going to say I never thought of it in that manner, but just the importance. I do see a lot of young entrepreneurs. I don't know what type of meetings they went to when they were younger, but I didn't get those memos in my, teens and 20s to, wanting to have $100,000 at 23. I see some of these young girls out here rocking, and but the only thing that I see that may be missing is just the morale, or the just the integrity of
Okay.
things, and
Mhm.
just more of the characteristics that I
Mhm.
believe it takes to become or sustain as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Because you can definitely do your own thing. If you have a great talent, you have a great product, people almost don't even care.
Mhm.
I mean, they do care from a principal standpoint, but if I had, there's a restaurant and I'm not fond of the owner, but boy, they got some good whatever. I might, every time I go, I'm like, I can't stand them, but can I get an order of such and such? You know what I'm saying? You have it in the back of your head how you truly, I mean, you have it in the forefront of how you feel, but regardless of the fact, you can't deny their product.
Mhm.
So I think that a lot of young people have mastered that aspect, but it also keeps them in that particular area. It does not allow you to grow. It does not allow you to expand because people support on who they like. So
Mhm.
even though you have a great product, but everything is like, oh, you don't want to da 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 da, you keep yourself having to work for yourself forever. You don't want that. You want to be able to teach people. You want to be able to pass the baton. So if you don't learn those, I believe those key characteristics of being a business owner, not just being a boss, but being a business owner,
Mhm.
you can really confine yourself, back yourself into a wall that you don't want to be in. So the goal is to work hard so you don't have to work later.
Mm.
Work hard now so you don't have to work later. And if you have to do everything, you're the boss and da 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 da, it does not give the people the opportunity to take it on for you because you have to build trust and all those things. And if you don't do that, you'll find yourself 60, 75 still working.
Wow.
So,
Great. That's great advice. Sage wisdom. And so you've got a big event coming up. And so last
yes.
night I was watching one of Chadwick Boseman's films, and I think I've forgotten the name already, but it was the film in which he was a detective in Africa.
Okay.
He came to the US, I
Mm.
think, to see what was going on with his sister. He finds that she's been murdered.
Oh, the king, the messenger, the king's messenger, or
There
something, the
you go. I
messenger
knew
of
I
the
was
king.
going to mess something like that. I couldn't remember the name,
Uh-huh.
but what an extraordinary performance! What an extraordinary
Mm.
actor! What a great
No,
loss
he
to our
did. Oh my
world!
gosh.
But what a great representation of
Mm.
fortitude and perseverance and excellence
Yes.
and greatness.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I am so excited that you have an event coming up
I
that
do.
honors him. And so tell us a little
Yeah.
bit more about it. I'm going to pull up the flyer as you talk.
Absolutely. Thank you. Next Wednesday, just to piggyback off what you're saying, Chadwick, oh my God, Mr. Bozeman, I just have to say, he was a great example of endurance, of how can I say, perseverance and tenacity and focus and discipline. And
Mhm.
for a person to carry such a burden, or such a weight, I'm not going to call it a burden, but to carry such a weight gracefully, in the manner that he did, and he carried it peacefully. I think that screams a need for us to kind of follow suit. For those of us who are like, oh, I'm too tired. I worked a double shift, or oh, the kid drove me crazy. I can't do anything else. Um, to carry stage 4 cancer. My grandmother, she died of colon cancer. And to me, that was, I saw that transition. I saw the weight loss. I saw it firsthand. And it's a very, it's a sight. It's a sight to witness
Joy,
and
are
to,
you able? I'm sorry. Are you able to
I
see
see
the
the
screen?
flyer.
It looks
Yes,
black.
yes.
There it is. Okay, you do. Okay,
Yeah,
very
I
good. I
do.
wanted to make
Yep.
sure. Go
Yes.
ahead.
And just to know that he endured that. And I'm not talking about just playing regular movies. We're talking about action films. Okay, we're talking about Civil War, Avengers, Black Panther. He was in most
Mhm.
of the Avengers movies. And the Civil War, he played more of a detailed part. He may have had a stunt double at times, of course, but as most actors do. But to play those roles and carrying that, oh my
Mhm.
goodness, that's something. And then in addition to even 42, which is one of my favorites,
Mhm.
42, the Jackie Robinson story, it was just beautiful to see his discipline, his fearlessness, his courage, and to see moments of, you know, wanting to break, but you didn't. It just kind of really showed as people of color, Black people, that the different fights that we have, there is a way to overcome. Just be yourself, be who you know to be, not be yourself, but be the person of integrity that you know to be. And it's always important to have people who remind you of that, because you do get moments
Mhm.
of weakness, you do get tired. um
Mhm.
However, but we have to stay focused. And that's what this really meant to me to do this event. It's not just about celebrating, just his movies, and, because of course, those were amazing accomplishments. But I
Mhm.
wanted to celebrate who he was as a man. I know that a lot of men, Black men right now, um, they're distracted by so much, between social media, different things that are being projected, and music videos, of course, politically, and also just what we see on the news. There's a lot of discouragement there. And I wanted to give
Yeah.
an opportunity for um, not only Black men, but just people in general, to celebrate someone who redefined um, keeping it moving forward, keep it
Yeah.
pushing, and no matter what comes your way, stick to the task.
Yeah.
And that's what he had a plan. You could see it if you watch some of his previous interviews, if you watch some of his previous um, just movements, you can see that he was preparing, but he chose to do
Yeah.
it in a way of giving. And I thought that was admirable, absolutely admirable. And
Yes.
and so we're going to be doing this event next week at the Imagine Theaters in Novi. And Paul Glantz is the owner, who's a very, very wonderful friend of mine, who has definitely contributed in a lot of ways to the urban market. And I hate to say the urban market, because he's not a man that really sees color. He's a businessman, he's a father, he's a loving individual, and he's given me the opportunity to be able to sponsor 230 vehicles to come and see um, Chadwick's movies. So I thought that was amazing. And we're going to do it in a drive-in. Even though the governor has stated that on the 8th that we may be able to, open up the doors, so that could change. But as of right now, it's still the drive-in. And so
Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely amazing to do, to be able to celebrate and honor his legacy within the film. So definitely wonderful accolades to Paul Glantz for giving me the opportunity to do this. So yeah, I definitely want people to come out. So we're able to have 230 vehicles. I have about 86 or 85 spots that are left. And so all they have to do is RSVP. They'll text 313 which is with their full name and email address. Again, the number is 313-469-3410. And just text your full name when you arrive. We'll check your name off and you'll have your spot. So it's really simple. It's really simple. And come out and hang
Right.
out. Yeah.
That sounds awesome. And so I wanted to double back to something you said, which is
Mm-hmm.
more of a personal note, that your grandmother also had colon cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So you know firsthand kind of what um, presence of mind and energy it would take to kind of move through all of these productions that he did while going from
Yeah.
stage 3 to stage 4. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? And just before you do, give you a second to think on it. On LinkedIn, we see you, Stephen Waldron. Thank you, Clinton Township, 70 degrees there. Thank you, Commerce Township, Jeff Scheichel. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Thank you for joining us. All right, I see Felix Holmes has joined us. Thank you, Ginger Henry has joined us. All of you on the various platforms that have joined us. We're talking to Joy Booker Thornton, entrepreneur extraordinaire, about one of her great events that she is promoting that's here locally in the Michigan area that's going to be in Novi. She has about 85 spots left, probably 85 and fleeting going down, of people that might
Yes.
get the drive-in experience for a
Yes.
celebration of the legacy of Chadwick Boseman. And so you
Yes.
mentioned that your grandmother had colon cancer. What
She
was that
did.
experience like?
Oh my goodness. Well, my grandmother was my best friend. I'm talking about my eighth, that she was 83. So that was my girl. We talked about everything. And so, she really didn't know exactly what was taking place. So she said she had to go to the doctor. She went, and it kind of happened rapidly, actually. She went in January, and then just a couple of months later, it was done. And I actually was in New York. God allowed me to kind of be away at that time. I met with her right before the day I was leaving, and I said, after this, I'm not traveling anymore. And then on the day that I was scheduled to come back, I got the call and said she had passed. So, and I believe that God just kind of protected my heart and my eyes from that, so that I would, because I'm a visual person. So I'm just glad that He protected me from that. So when I came out of my hotel, I'm just seeing everything on Times Square. So, even though I was still hurting, of course, but I
Yes.
still had a different visual in front of me. But just
Yeah.
to see her transition, she was a heavy set woman. And then, you know, I guess I was in denial a little bit because it was like, okay, she had stage 4 cancer. And I'm like, okay. In my mind, it's like 45 stages. So, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't really, kind of take full heat to it, or I just didn't process the seriousness. And then I'm like, well, we have to stitch her up, do surgery. I'm like, okay, well, throw a band-aid on her, send her home. That was just my grandmother was invincible to me. Like she may get some bumps and bruises, but the thought of losing her wasn't, it never crossed my mind. But when the day that I left, I did see the sickness. God allowed me to see the sickness on her. And so, and she was always very sharp, very, very, very sharp. And the reason I knew she was sick is because she asked me to go get her something. And I went into the kitchen and grabbed it. And then she called my name again and she said, Joy, can you get this? She asked me twice. And that's when it clicked to me that she was sick because she never, ever did that before. Okay. So
Right.
even in her old age, she just never was like that. Like I said, she was very sharp. She drove all the way up until that moment. So, so for me, it was really to watch her face, to watch the body transform. Um, it's heartbreaking because it's really not too much you can do. You want to provide hope. You want to provide, hey, listen, you know, we can fight this. We can just do this, and come on. But you can see that it is taking its course. And I'm a faith believer. I believe in God and I believe in healing at 1,000%. But then I also do have to accept when it's God's will. And it seems to me that that's what Chadwick did for himself. He said, it's like he almost said, hey, listen, I want to do these particular projects. Allow me to do this. Let me give back. Excuse me. Allow me to give back to children who are in the same predicament. Let me be able to spend time with them. Let me feed from them. Let them feed from me. And I allow me to make my legacy before I go. And he did that. He accomplished that. And so
Yeah.
and I believe before he died, he married a young lady, that he had known from some time, and just in making sure she was set, and I think he was just a very considerate person all the way around. He was considerate of those who were around him because I know they would have been bombarded with questions, you know? And he did it in a way not only to protect himself, but to protect them as well. So I think just all around,
Yeah.
he was a beautiful individual
Yeah.
from
I
what I
think that
saw.
it,
From what I saw.
yeah, I think it seemed very selfless of him to
Yeah,
be able to say, I want the memory of me to be the superhero who overcame. And instead of the focus to be on a health challenge or even a health challenge that I might eventually succumb to, I want the focus to be on the super heroic part that everybody um, embraced and wanted to embody. And so I think that's a
exactly.
selfless act to put that before your own personal challenge. You mentioned of your grandmother, though, that you thought of her as being invincible. What are some of the other, and that might be why you have that invincible, indomitable spirit. What are some of the other lessons that maybe she taught you about being a
Oh,
strong woman or about life in general? What are some of those wonderful lessons?
you know what? My grandmother, one of the main things she taught me, because I have a big love for people all the way around. I just love people. I love to help. I'm a solutionist. So, but one of the main
Mhm.
things she told me, she said, don't allow your compassion to overrule your common sense. And
Mm.
that really stood out to me because I would do a lot of things that would put me in a sacrificial position. And then I would have to get someone else to help me out, because I'm trying to make sure that other people were taken care of. And and I would be like, oh, it's okay, because I always knew that I was going to be all right. I knew God's favor was in my life. I knew that God has always brought me out, but we shouldn't use God as a parachute. I think we should be grateful that God can also operate in preventative ways. And so,
Mhm.
are you still there? Because you're frozen on my end. Oh,
Uh-oh. I
oh,
hope
it's
you
so.
can
I
see
mean, it's
me.
okay. I
I
can. I
moved.
can. I can. I can't. It's just frozen. I mean, I
Okay.
can hear you, so I can still keep going. So it's no big deal. But
Yes.
yeah, one of the main things for me was just that was one of the sayings that really kind of stood out. She used she used to say this other little thing. She says she would say, I'm not gonna fatten frogs for snakes. And I didn't understand. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't get it until recently. And I
Mhm.
believe what she meant by that was, you know, know who you're feeding, know what you're doing and for whom. We
Mhm.
want to sacrifice,
Mhm.
we want to help, we want to be there, we want to do all those wonderful things, and it's just maybe our nature. But you also have to understand that the enemy sees us coming as well, and he will use whatever he can use to distract us or to discourage us. And when I say distraction, sometimes helping is a distraction. Now we are to be helpers one to another, and this is where wisdom comes in. You have to know when, you have to know who, you need to know how much. Because even when Jesus was going to help people, he said, if they welcome you, all right, cool. If not, shake the dust from your feet. So we have to be able to be mindful and be able to discern, what we're doing and whom we're doing it for and with. Oh, okay. I think I lost you. Let's see.